Alright guys, so in this video we are going to just introduce repeating decimals and talk about converting them from decimals to fractions and vice versa. So the first thing is just the three types of decimals. We mentioned it in some of the other sections, but the first type is terminating decimals that you see here in the middle. Terminating decimals were what we studied in 7.1 and 7.2. Those are decimals that stop, that end. We are now introducing this idea of repeating decimals. So repeating decimals always are going to have a pattern. So in this second one, you can see 751, 751, 751 repeats. And in this one up above, that number 2 starts to repeat. So they do go on forever, but they do repeat. There's a third type of decimal, non-terminating and non-repeating. Those are irrational numbers. The most famous one is pi and square root of 2. Those are not in Math 212, but certainly worth mentioning that that is the third type of decimal. We are focusing in on just these first two columns. So what is a repeating decimal? Well, a repeating decimal is just like it sounds. It's a decimal that continues except it repeats. And so, for example, we've got 0.181818 forever. It's repeating because I've got that ... on the end. It goes on forever. But we want to write it with the least possible digits. And so because of that, we have introduced this new notation with a bar. That bar is going to go over the repeated digits. So we can write 0.181818 as 0.18 because those are the least repeated digits with a bar over top. How we do not want to write this as 0.1818 with a bar over that. Yes, those are the same thing, but that doesn't use the least possible digits. And so that is kind of in a nutshell what a repeating decimal is. So let's just look at, well, how can I convert these from fractions to decimals if I know they're a repeating decimal? Well, the first way that your homework and the test will ask you is just using a calculator. So that's going to be kind of the easy way. The easy way is going to take the top divided by the bottom. So you'll type in the calculator, in this case, 2 over 11, 2 divided by 11, because the fraction bar really just means division. When we type that thing in, our calculator is going to give us this, and so on and so forth. Now, we want to write that as 0.18 with the bar. There will be some problems that say using long division, convert from a fraction to a decimal. So this is that property we talked about in the last set of notes. Anytime you've got a fraction and you want to write it with the division bar, the top number is going to fall down and go inside the house. The bottom number is going to be outside. So in this example, 11 is going to be outside and 2 is going to be inside. So I've got 11 going into 2. Well, 11 doesn't divide into 2, but I can add a decimal and a 0, and now I can divide 11 into 20. Remember, we're going to line up our decimals. 11 goes into 20 just one time, and then I'm going to multiply. 1 times 11 is going to give me 11. Subtract, don't forget your decimal point. Subtract those. 20 minus 11 is going to give me 9. I will add a 0, carry it down because that doesn't change the value. Carry down that 0. 11 goes into 98 times. 8 times 11 is going to give me 88. I'm going to subtract and get 2. Add a 0, carry it down. So now I've got 11 going into 20. Same thing, 11 goes into 21 time. 1 times 11 is going to be 11, and subtract 9. You're probably starting to see the pattern by now. 11 goes into 98 times. 8 times 11 is 88. And so you can start to see that it's repeating. And so I can't say that that's the remainder. because it just keeps going on and on and on forever. You only need to do long division until the digits start to repeat. Once the digits start to repeat, then your work is done. So once that has happened, then you have shown adequate work. Now I don't want to write it as 0.181818 with the dots. I want to simplify this to be 0.18 with the bar over top. And so I have written this fraction, 2/11, in a decimal with two different methods, using a calculator on the left, using long division on the right.